Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, and if you are a driver over the age of 70, or you are approaching 70, or you have a parent or a partner who is, I need you to hear this, because the system that has allowed you to keep your driving license by simply ticking a box and declaring that your eyesight is good enough is now under serious threat of being scrapped. This is not speculation. This is not something I have read on social media and decided to pass along. On the 7th of January 2026, the government published its first road safety strategy in over a decade, and alongside it, launched a formal public consultation on replacing the current self-declaration system with mandatory professional eyesight tests for every driver aged 70 and over. That consultation closed on the 11th of May 2026. The Department for Transport is now analysing the responses. No final decision has been announced yet, but the direction of travel is clear. The professional bodies are backing it, the statistics are driving it, and every driver over 70 needs to understand what is being proposed, what it would mean for their license, and what they should be doing right now regardless of the outcome. I have gone through the consultation document, the road safety strategy, the FOI data on license revocations, and the current DVLA guidance, and I am going to walk you through all of it today. Now, before I get into the detail, I want to say something to those of you who are already subscribed. Thank you. This is exactly why this channel exists. When the government launches a consultation that could change the way 4 million drivers renew their licenses, it does not put an advert on the television. It publishes a document on a government website and opens a feedback window for 12 weeks. The people who are subscribed to this channel found out about it. The people who are not subscribed will find out when the law has already changed and the letter arrives telling them their renewal now requires a test they were not expecting. If you are watching right now and you are not yet subscribed, one tap is all it takes, no cost, and it means you will never be the last person to find out that the rules have shifted. Now there are 5 things I need to walk you through, and I want you to stay until the end, because number 5 is the single most important action any driver over 60 can take right now. It costs nothing, it takes 20 minutes, and it protects you no matter what the government decides. Let us get into it. The first thing you need to understand is what the current system actually is, because most drivers have been using it for so long that they have never stopped to think about how extraordinary it is. Right now, when you reach the age of 70, the DVLA sends you a D46P renewal form. On that form, you are asked to declare, by ticking a box, that your eyesight meets the minimum legal standard for driving. That standard is the ability to read a post-2001 format number plate from a distance of 20 meters, which is roughly the length of 5 cars parked bumper to bumper. You can wear glasses or contact lenses to meet it. The critical point is this: nobody checks. You tick the box, you sign the form, you send it off, and the DVLA issues your new license for another 3 years, based entirely on your word. There is no requirement to provide a report from an optician. There is no requirement to have had an eye test at all. The only formal eyesight test you ever took was the number plate reading at the start of your practical driving test, which for most people over 70 happened more than 50 years ago. After that, the law relies entirely on you to monitor your own eyesight and to tell the DVLA if it falls below the standard. The United Kingdom is one of only 3 countries in Europe that operates this way. Most European nations require professional eyesight certification at renewal. The UK does not, and that is what the consultation is proposing to change. The second thing you need to understand is why the government is acting now, and the answer is in the numbers. A Freedom of Information request to the DVLA revealed that between 2022 and 2025, a total of 32,944 standard driving licenses were revoked or refused because the holder's eyesight did not meet the minimum legal standard. In 2025 alone, 7,845 drivers lost their licenses for eyesight reasons. Roadside eyesight test failures, where police ask a driver to read a number plate from 20 meters during a traffic stop, increased by 180% over the same period, rising from 256 in 2022 to 715 in 2025. Collisions in which poor eyesight was identified as a contributing factor increased by 26% in the past 12 months alone, and in 2024, 24% of all car drivers killed on UK roads were aged 70 or over. That is nearly 1 in 4. The government's road safety strategy sets a target of reducing deaths and serious injuries on the roads by 65% by 2035. The current self-declaration system, in the government's view, is not delivering the level of assurance needed to meet that target. That is why the consultation was launched. That is what is driving the change. The third thing is what the proposed mandatory testing would actually look like in practice, because the consultation asked for views on several specific questions. The core proposal is that drivers aged 70 and over would be required to provide proof of a professional eyesight test as a condition of renewing their driving license. The test would need to be completed within a set period before the renewal date, and without it, the license would not be renewed. If your eyesight did not meet the standard and could not be corrected with glasses or contact lenses, your license would not be reissued. If you continued to drive after that point, you would be driving without a valid license, and your motor insurance, which requires you to hold a valid license, would be void. The consultation also asked whether the mandatory test should apply from age 70 or from an earlier or later age, whether healthcare professionals such as optometrists and GPs should be required to notify the DVLA when a patient no longer meets the driving eyesight standard, and whether cognitive testing should also be introduced alongside the eyesight requirement. The government has not yet announced the outcome. The Department for Transport stated after the consultation closed that it is analysing the feedback and that the results will be published in due course. But the professional bodies have spoken clearly. The Royal College of Optometrists and the Association of Optometrists submitted a joint response supporting mandatory testing. The AA has publicly backed the proposal. The direction is set. The question now is when, not whether. The fourth thing is something that most drivers do not know exists at all, and it is already in force right now regardless of what happens with the consultation. It is called Cassie's Law. In 2011, a 16-year-old girl called Cassie McCord was walking to college in Colchester when she was struck and killed by an 87-year-old driver named Colin Horsfall. He had mounted the pavement at speed after pressing the accelerator instead of the brake. 3 days before the collision, Mr. Horsfall had been stopped by police and had failed a roadside eyesight test. He refused to surrender his license. At the time, the police had no power to revoke it immediately. They had to write to the DVLA and wait. While they were waiting, Cassie was killed. Her mother, Jackie McCord, campaigned for a change in the law, and in 2013 that change was introduced. Under Cassie's law, if a police officer stops you and you fail a roadside eyesight test, the officer can email the DVLA directly from the roadside using a mobile device. The DVLA can issue a formal revocation notice the same day. Your license is cancelled, you are not permitted to drive away, you must arrange alternative transport on the spot. The license will not be returned until you can demonstrate that your eyesight meets the required standard. Since it was introduced, Cassie's Law has been used to revoke hundreds of licenses. And police forces across the country are actively carrying out roadside eyesight checks, not just when a driver is involved in an incident, but during routine stops. If an officer asks you to read a number plate from 20 meters and you cannot do it, you could lose your license that afternoon. Not next week, not after a review, that afternoon. And here is what most people do not realize. You do not have to be involved in an accident. You do not have to be driving badly. You simply have to fail the test when asked. One stop, one test, one failure, and your license is gone. Now here is the fifth thing, the one I told you to stay for, the one that costs you nothing and protects you no matter what the government decides. And it is simpler than anything else I have said today. Go and get your eyes tested. If you are age 60 or over, you are entitled to a free NHS-funded sight test every 2 years at any high street optician. The College of Optometrists recommends that from the age of 70, you should be having an eye test every single year. The test is free. You do not pay a penny. You walk into any optician that provides NHS services, you tell them you are 60 or over, and you book a free NHS sight test. It takes approximately 20 to 25 minutes. They will check your visual acuity, which includes your ability to read at distance. They will check for signs of glaucoma, cataracts, macular degeneration, and diabetic retinopathy, and they will tell you whether your eyesight meets the legal standard for driving. If it does, you have peace of mind and a professional record that confirms it. If it does not, you have the opportunity to get it corrected with glasses or contact lenses before you are stopped at the roadside and lose your license without warning. And if mandatory testing is introduced, you will already have a recent test on record and you will be ahead of every other driver who left it until the last minute. There is no downside. There is no cost. There is only the 20 minutes it takes to sit in a chair and find out whether the eyesight you are trusting your life and other people's lives to is actually as good as you believe it is. Book it this week. Do not wait for the law to change. Do not wait for the letter. Do not wait for the roadside stop. Book it now. So let me bring this together. 1. The current system relies on self-declaration and requires no professional eyesight test, but a government consultation that closed in May 2026 has proposed replacing it with mandatory testing for every driver aged 70 and over. 2. The statistics that triggered this consultation are stark, with nearly 33,000 licenses revoked for eyesight failures in 3 years, roadside test failures up 180%, and collisions linked to poor vision up 26%. 3. If mandatory testing is introduced, drivers who cannot provide proof of a professional eyesight test will not be able to renew their license, and driving without a valid license voids your insurance. 4. Under Cassie's law, police can already revoke your license the same day if you fail a roadside eyesight test, and forces across the country are actively conducting these checks. And 5. Every person aged 60 and over is entitled to a free NHS eye test. The College of Optometrists recommends annual tests from 70, and booking one now protects you whether the law changes or not. 5 facts. 1 free test. And a system that is about to change for every driver over 70 in this country. If this video helped you today, I am going to ask you to do 2 things. Subscribe to this channel so that when the government publishes the outcome of this consultation, you hear about it first. And share this video with a driver you know who is over 60, a parent, a partner, a neighbor, someone at the bowling club, someone on your street. You do not need to explain everything I have said. Just send them the link and say it is worth 20 minutes of their time, because one share, one test, one conversation about something nobody wants to talk about, that could make a real difference. Thank you for watching, friends. I will see you in the next one.